Welcome to UDAYA.com. My name is Dr. Jeff Beaudoin. This is Zyre Yoga, and today's class is called Good News. The good news is that the past is dead. Let's come to the top of our mat and bring your feet about hips width apart. So if you look down at your feet, inner edge of your feet are about 2 inches apart, bones of the second toes are parallel. Stand up really tall, bring your hands to your hips. Unlock your knees and lift your middle 3 toes, please, and really ground the outer edge of the heels down. Kind of sit back into the heels a little bit without closing your heart down. Keep the shoulder blades joining and the heart lifting. Shoulder blades down your back. And start breathing through your nose, inhales and exhales. Close your eyes. Connect with your breath. So I said the past is dead. That's the only thing I know about the past. That's the only thing that I really can say with any certainty is that it is dead and gone. And let's make this practice today a celebration of that fact. Yoga, the 5th yama, says aparigraha, non-attachment, non-clinging to the world. So much wisdom in that. Everything that's happened in the past, I can't bring it back. Let me celebrate that fact. Good or bad, happy or sad, it's over. You can't move on if you're holding on, so that's good news. Start breathing through your nose even deeper and keep your lips closed and find that what we call Ujjayi pranayama. If you allow your teeth to separate and lift the hyoid bone, which is the bone that protects your trachea, up and lift the soft palate up into the sinus cavity, you can get that hollow whispering sound going. Keep breathing like that the whole class. And everybody, big inhale, lift your chest up. And as you exhale, hinge the hips and fold halfway until your shoulders the same height as your hips. Now notice if you drift forward into the balls of the feet too much, kind of shift back into the heels. Do not lock your knees. It's terrible for you to lock your knees. Keep the feet pressing down. Take one more inhale here, pull your heart forward, pull the hips back a little bit, and then exhale, fold into that all the way down, release your hands to the floor. And just let the crown of the head drop. What are the things you get attached to? Things we get clinging to are our possessions, our opinions, our expectations. How about old traumas? You know, the energy of your traumas get locked in your hips, get locked in the groin area. So we're going to get into those areas. We'll warm them up, and then we'll do some poses at the end of this class to release maybe some of the emotional energy there. Since the past is dead, I don't want to carry it around with me in my physical body either. You know, I don't even want to be clinging to my physical body. Right now I got to take care of it. Go ahead and grab your opposite elbows, allow head and neck to dangle a little bit freer. Lift the hips a little bit higher without locking your knees. Maybe switch elbows. Put a little deeper bend in the knees in case your hamstrings are barking at you. And start to even smooth out the breath even deeper, both inhales and exhales, and really focus on the exhales in this practice today. Everybody bring your palms to your shins right below your knees. And lift your heart the same height as your hips, shoulders same height as hips. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, hinge at these hips and fold into that. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, palms in the shins, flat back, climb aboard, chest out. And then exhale, fold. Keep a little strength in the core. One more time, palms in the shins, climb aboard. And then stay up there, bring your hands back to your hips where they were before. Exhale. And then press down into those feet. Wait for your inhale to stand up again. Stand up. And then when you get to stand, bring your hands to prayer and your feet together. Good. Now, in Zyre Yoga, we do this thing called neutral squats a lot. And neutral squat looks like this. It's just like chair pose from the hips down. Fingers on the floor on the same line as the toes. Your chest is up, shoulders are back. So we're going to do some of those with Tadasana. Here it is. On your next exhale, I want you to just open your eyes, bend your knees, put your fingertips on the floor, neutral squat. Keep your chest up. And then as you inhale, stand up and reach both arms up to the sky. Inhale, reach both arms up. And we'll go right back to neutral squat. Exhale, bend the knees, chest high, fingertips on the floor. And then inhale, stand up, reach both arms up. Now when you put the fingertips down, try to put them down next to your toes. Exhale, sit down, neutral squat, sit back in the heels. And then inhale, stand up, sweep both arms up. Get tall with the front body. Exhale, neutral squat, sit down, hips low, little core crunch. Inhale, stand up. 2 more to go. And then exhale, squat down there, fingertips on the floor. All feet together. Inhale, stand up, get tall. Big toes touch, inner ankles don't. Exhale, neutral squat. Now pause, empty the lungs completely. And then chair pose, chest off thighs, reach both arms up to the sky. Sit there for a second. Again, I want to sit back into the inner edge of the heels, lift the middle 3 toes off the ground. And turn your tailbone down just a little bit until you can feel your front ribs draw in and the core gets strong. Take one more inhale and sit a little bit lower. Get ready to fold. Exhale, fold, legs straight, hands on the floor. Good, now press down into the ground. Inhale, open up the arms, come all the way up to standing. Flat back, come all the way up. And then exhale, fold into that again. Again, don't lock the knees. Let's come back up. Inhale, open up the arms, come all the way up to standing. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Start to smooth out the breath as you connect. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Press down and reach up and look up and gaze up. Exhale all the way down. Let's do 3 more half salutations. Press down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. So inhale is a muscular energy. I'm drawing energy into the core. Exhale, press down to the feet all the way down, pressing into the floor, organic energy. 2 more times. Inhale, open up the arms, come all the way up to standing. Now look up and gaze up and keep those short ribs in. Exhale, fall forward and fold. Good, Karina. Inhale, glance out, flat back. Exhale, fold into that. I just want to stay down there for a second. Grab the back of your heels if that's accessible to you. And a forward fold is an opportunity to really surrender, right? A back bend or a heart opener is an opportunity to open up to whatever the future has and whatever the present moment has. But a forward fold signifies sort of emotionally and psychologically an opportunity to just really let go. And like what I was talking about, parigraha, non-clinging to the world, non-clinging to my stuff, non-clinging to the past. So what I want you to do on every exhale, every forward fold, just really push that breath out a little bit more. Everybody, let's do that one time. Exhale, push it out a little bit more. Keep the feet active on the floor. And then inhale, flat back. Fingers on the same line as the toes. Glance forward. And then bend the knees and step back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Now, when you get back to downward facing dog, first thing you're going to do is you're going to look back at your feet. Inner edges of the feet are only about 2 inches apart, and the bones of the second toes are parallel. The pinky toe sides of the feet lift, okay? Now keep the mounds of the big toes pressing down, unlock the knees and draw the inner heels to the ground. Draw the hips back without dumping or collapsing into your lower back. And the way we do that is by drawing those short ribs into the kidneys, keeping the core strong. Now, hands are strong on the floor. Look up at your hands. Make sure your hands are active. Spread those fingers. Grip the mat with the finger pads. And then on your next inhale, drift to upper push-up position. Everybody's favorite position. So we're eventually going to get those places in your body that are really notorious for holding on to the past. But right now we're going to ignore them and warm up other places. Actually, it's kind of a sneaky way to get into the hips is to get into the core too, because it's all connected, right? On your next exhale, press back to down dog. Good, now follow your next inhale to upper push-up position. So inhale, upper push-up position. Get the heart forward, reverse circle the shoulders. Exhale, press back to down dog. Now it's like doing a crunch. Inhale, upper push-up position. I want to try to use my core to get to where I'm going. Exhale, like a crunch, pull back. There you go. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, upper push-up position. Try to use more belly. Exhale, pull back to downward facing dog. Last one, inhale, upper push-up position. One more little thing here. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time we're going to put the knees on the floor, but listen, inhale, upper push-up position. Put your knees on the floor. And exhale, lower all the way down. Good, just lay on the ground for a second. Run your arms down your sides, turn your head to the side. Just relax for a second. Nobody ever gets up and walks out of class when we get to this one. Okay, I can make it. All right. You had me at plank. Put your palms back underneath your shoulders like you're going to do a push-up from your knees. And in fact, to make sure you're going to do a push-up from your knees, just bend the knees and lift the feet off the floor for a second. Now, don't cross your legs, because it's a subtle thing, but actually kind of twisting the hips a little bit. We don't want to do that. On your next exhale, just easily press the floor away from you. Press up. Good. And then inhale, go on back down there. Inhale, touch your chin to the ground. Strong hands. Exhale, press back up, elbows in. Peek forward a little bit. Inhale, bend the elbows, touch your chin to the floor. Exhale, press back up. Try to keep your heart forward. Move the hands back a little bit. Inhale, bend the elbows, touch your chin. Exhale, press back. Last time. Inhale, bend the elbows, touch the chin. Strong hands, strong core. You ready? Exhale, press back up. Now everybody back to plank, up on your toes. Big inhale. And then as you exhale, lower yourself back to the floor. Release your toes, keep the hips on the floor. This time, just lift your heart center up off the mat without using your hands. Keep the hands on the floor and keep the finger pads gripping down. Squeeze the palms out, elbows in a little bit. Okay? Now all you're going to do is just use your upper back, press the pubis bone and the hip points into the floor. That'll allow you to lift your heart up a little bit more. And on your next exhale, curl the toes under and press all the way back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a breath or two here. And then when you're ready, and make sure it's on an exhale, put the knees on the floor, release your toes. Sit your butt on your heels with the shins together, hero's pose. Sit up tall and place your hands on your thighs, palms up, and close your eyes. Take a moment and consider that. What would non-attachment, non-clinging, the fact that the past is dead mean to you in your life at this particular moment? I know I've gotten caught up with expectations. I've gotten caught up with old traumas. And I just hold on to it till it just wears me out. And then yoga reminds me, it's like, it's over. Move on. Get into your body. Get in the present moment. Let's move on. Let's move on in this class. Crawl forward, upper push-up position again. We're going to put all that together in a very strong manner. Get the heart forward over the wrists. Get your chin up a little bit. And on your next exhale, lower it back down, but don't touch the ground. Just lower it back down. And then inhale, power back up to plank. And then exhale back to downward facing dog with core strength. Awesome. Let's do it again. Inhale, upper push-up positions, magic and repetition. Exhale, lower slow, but don't touch the ground. Just get about an inch from the floor. Inhale, power back to plank. Use your core. Exhale, press back. Remember, it's more belly. 3 more times. Inhale, upper push-up position. I'm just going to follow my Ujjayi there. Exhale, lower down, but don't touch the ground. Inhale, power back to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice modifications, Jen Huberty. Inhale, upper push-up position. Exhale, lower and stop an inch from the floor. Inhale, upper push-up position. The floor never looks so good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do one more for posterity. Inhale, upper push-up position. Oh, posterity is the past. Exhale, lower an inch from the floor. Inhale, back to plank. Use your core, downward facing dog. Take one inhale in downward facing dog, and as you exhale, drop the knees to the floor again, but this time, crawl on forward to meet your wrists. Cross your legs behind you, sit back on your butt, and grab the back of the knees, lift your feet off the mat. So your shins are parallel to the floor, ankles and knees same height to the floor. Now draw the chest and the thighs towards each other a little bit more and reach both arms forward, palms face each other, shoulders height and shoulders width. Just like Karina, here's good form. Try to keep the shoulders down and the chest up towards the thighs. Keep the breath flowing deep and free. We're going to keep coming back to this posture on the top, at the bottom of the exhale, okay? As you inhale, I want you to lean back a little bit and press your legs straight. Lean back a little bit and press the legs straight. I'll help you. Exhale, sit back up. Now don't drop your head back. Inhale, lean back a little bit, legs straight. Exhale, power yourself back up. Keep going. Inhale, lean back, pause. Exhale, sit up. Just 5 more. Inhale, lean back. I know I can't do 5. Exhale, sit up. 4 more. Inhale. So it's like 1 at a time. Exhale, sit up. Right? Past is done. Those are done. Let me do some in the future. Inhale, lean back. Oh, future doesn't exist either. Exhale, sit up. I got to stay where I'm at. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, sit up tall. 2 more. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, sit up tall. Are you ready to go to down dog? Listen, inhale, lean back. And on one exhale, downward facing dog. You got to be kidding me, right? But you did it. And that may, like, sometimes you say, I can't do it, and then you do it and go, I did it. And then you're like, well, shit. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this a lot in this class, okay? We're going to float to plank. We're going to go back to down dog, and then we're going to float to forward dog and hold that for a second, okay? Everybody, here we go. Inhale, upper push-up position, strong core. And then exhale, back to downward facing dog. Now get ready. You're going to roll over the tops of the feet. Inhale, forward dog. So you're going to float to forward dog. The thighs don't hit the floor. Now pause here. The hips draw towards the wrist. Palms are squeezing out. Chest is lifting. Now draw the shoulders back and down out of your ears. Lift the chest up. On your next exhale, curl the toes under and float to the floor. And then run your arms down your ribs and lift everything up off the mat. Now point the toes straight back. You know, your hands for that chaturanga or forward dog or up dog, they're basically on the same line as your belly, your short ribs, somewhere back there towards the hips. Guys, on your next exhale, put your hands in that position and touch your forehead to the floor. This time, come up to up dog. Inhale, straight up to up dog. Now hold that one for a second. That's beautiful form here. Awesome. Make the hands strong, thighs off the floor. On your next exhale, tuck the toes under, curl back and touch your nose to the floor. Inhale, power back up to plank. Press back to downward facing dog. Bravo. See your feet back there? Slowly walk your hands all the way back to your toes. Do not bring your feet together. Just nice and slow. No need to waddle the hips like a crocodile crossing the street. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Okay, feet aren't together. Feet are not together. The feet are a couple inches apart. Press the knuckles away from your heart. Unlock the knees just a little bit. Lift the middle 3 toes if you can. And draw your sternum plate forward out of your navel. So the physical heart draws forward out of the belly, but stay in the forward fold. You're trying to stretch your belly towards your toes. Okay? So as the heart draws forward out of the belly stretches towards the toes. The hips lift up out of the outer edge, the heels pressing in the floor. Perfect. Now, what I'd like you to do is just bend your right knee a little bit, just a tiny bit. And then I want you to check your right hip. So press the outside of your left hand into the outside of the right hip. I want you to release your right hand to the outside of your left ankle. Okay? Grab the outside of the left ankle. And then lift your heart up a little bit, roll the left shoulder back behind you, look up at the sky, and then release your left arm up to the side. So the right hand's grabbing the outside of the left ankle. Okay? Now, try to keep your heart lifting a little bit, and here's a little secret for you. The right knee is unlocked, right? I want you to squeeze your right side waist. Lift that right side waist as you press the mounds of the left foot down into the ground, and turn the inner knees in and try to draw them back, lifting the hips. Feel that in the chest forward. Now, make it very beautiful. Don't drop your shoulders any lower. Keep the heart lifted. You're just going to switch. Let your left hand come down, grab the outside of the right ankle. Okay, unlock the left knee and wrap your right arm behind your back. Keep the heart lifted. Look up and release your right hand up to the sky. You got it, perfect. So see if you can remember what we did. You lift the left side waist, you press the mounds of the right foot into the ground. You keep your heart drawn forward, out of your right hip drawn back, and you're actually trying to draw the left shoulder into the left side waist so the side waist shortens a little bit. Take one more inhale, open up your chest to the right, and then exhale, fold. Separate your feet about another 6 inches to a foot, and then turn your feet out about 20 degrees like you're going to do a Malasana. And on an inhale, flat back, climb up onto the fingertips, and then squat down into Malasana. Sit up really tall. Good. So, here we go. Here's our first exploration into that area, right? The hips, the groin area. Just let the hips sink down as you lift your heart up nice and tall. Try to press, as Tracy's got the elbows pressing in the inner knees, perfect form. Shoulders drawn back, tailbone drawn towards the floor. Inner edge of the feet are a little bit heavier on the floor. Take one more inhale, let the hips sink as you lift the heart. And then exhale, hands down, legs straight, fold. Once you get your legs straight in that fold, heel toe the feet back together. And just fold into that. Bring the fingertips back alongside the toes, side to side. Check that your inner ankles aren't touching. That's a big thing for me anyways. Now, we're going to come all the way up, and then we're going to sit down into chair. So listen to this. Here it goes. On an inhale, come all the way up to standing. And then as you exhale, sit down into chair. Now, as you inhale, reach your arms forward and press your legs straight so your spine is parallel to the floor. And then exhale, fold. Good. Press down, open up the arms, come all the way up to standing. Let's do those a couple more times. Exhale, sit down to chair and crunch in your core. Inhale, reach forward, legs straight. Glance forward a little bit. Keep that length. Exhale, fold. Good. Press down, open up your arms, come all the way up to standing. And then exhale, sit down into chair. Keep the chest high for now. And then as you inhale, you're going to reach your arms forward and press those legs straight and draw the heart forward out of belly. Exhale, fold. 3 more times. Inhale, open up the arms, come all the way up to standing. I love repetition. Let's me get into a meditative state. Exhale, sit down into chair. Inhale, legs straight, reach forward from there. Glance forward, perfect. Exhale, fold into that. My feet are active. Inhale, open up the arms, come all the way up with a flat back. Exhale, sit a little lower in the chair. Inhale, reach forward, arms straight. Exhale, fold. Make it beautiful. Last one. Inhale, open up the arms, come all the way up to standing. And beautiful, we talk about inside out, right? Exhale, sit down. All beauty starts from the inside out. Inhale, reach forward, legs straight, glance forward, reach out. Exhale, fold. Everybody just glance forward, flat back. And then walk your hands out to downward facing dog. All right. We're going to put that little flow together, and we're not going to do pauses on it. Here it is. You'll remember it, muscle memory. Inhale, upper push-up position. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, float to forward dog and smile. Exhale, curl the toes under and float to the floor. Inhale, everything off the mat. Lift your arms, your legs, arms back, and then palms on the side of the belly. Touch your forehead to the floor and get ready for up dog. Inhale, upward facing dog, so the hands got to be back. Curl the toes under and touch your nose to the mat. Good, Mickey. Inhale, plank. Downward facing dog. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, upper push-up position. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Float to forward dog. Curl the toes under and float all the way to the floor. This time, Salamba again, but bend your knees and grab your ankles. We're tired of up dog. I think everybody agrees. Flex the feet. Now try to keep your knees as low as your hips. So don't let the knees pop up so you don't collapse in the lower back. I want you to use the kick of your shins and the shoulder blades joining to lift your heart. Now peek up just beyond the top of your mat so you don't hyperextend your neck. Okay, and try to get the reverse circle going or the work of the back bend up there, okay? For 5. Deeper breathing, smoother breathing. 4. Count faster, Jeff. 3. Everybody take one more inhale and then lay it all down. Just lay it on the ground. Turn your head to the side, doesn't matter which side. You know what? Turn your head the other way just for evenness and equanimity in the cervical spine. By the way, don't sleep on your belly. I learned that the hard way. Reach both arms forward as far as they'll go and plant your palms on the floor. Okay? Now keep your legs on the floor. I just want you to lift your heart up like you're in a long cobra. Lift the heart up and walk your hands back a couple inches. Lift the heart up a little bit more. And then squeeze the palms out a little bit until the inner elbows turn towards the midline, pits of the elbows face the ceiling. And then press the palms down with pressure in the floor with your hands. Pull back a little bit, lift the heart up a little bit more. Good, now start to walk the hands back until your elbows end up right below your shoulders. You're in Sphinx pose. Hip points are still on the floor, lower body's still relaxed. Okay? And then from here, keep those elbows pressing down. Everybody looks perfect here. Elbows right underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes under. And on an exhale, just lift your hips up off the mat. You know, while you're here in short forearm plank, bring your palms together, interlace your fingers. And maybe walk the elbows just a smidge closer together and release your pinky fingers. Okay? Okay, so hips up a little bit more. Core, strengthen the core. I want you to military crawl your elbows back towards your toes until your butt is about 3 feet up in Dolphin pose. Bring your feet to about an inch apart. You remember you're lifting the pinky toe sides of the feet, drawing back with the inner knees, up with the inner thighs, okay? Down with the inner heels. Now we're going to do 5 of them. They're called Dolphin push-ups. Nobody likes them but psychopaths. But they're great for stabilizing the hips, great for stabilizing the core and the shoulder strength, okay? Be careful. Here we go. Use your core. Inhale, drift forward until you kiss the floor beyond your knuckles. And then exhale, pull yourself back. Now pull the hips back and use your strong feet. Inhale, drift forward and kiss the floor. Exhale, use your core, pull back. Let's do it again. Inhale, drift forward and kiss the floor. Press down with those forearms and pull back. 2 more. Inhale, drift forward and kiss the floor. Exhale, press yourself back. Last one. Inhale, drift forward. Now pause. Big inhale. Press back. Good. Take one inhale here in Dolphin. And as you exhale, put the knees down. Come to standing on your knees with your hands on your hips. Stand up really tall. Separate the inner knees as wide apart as you'd have your feet. So the inner knees are right underneath the sits bones. Squeeze the shoulder blades strong. Now we got the thumbs wrapped around the backside of the iliac crest, okay? Don't dump into that lower back. So keep the hip points lifted and the short ribs in. The work of the back bend and reach both arms up to the sky. Guys, I want to make sure that at home you keep your hips squared to the front wall. Square forward, square to the front of your mat. Okay, don't move your hips side to side. Just over the course of your next exhale, you're going to turn to the right and open up your arms parallel to the floor and look back. Okay? So you're going to keep using your right side waist to press the right hip forward. Now keep all that and drop the right hand to the right heel. And keep looking back there. I want you to draw the right shoulder into the mid-back. Notice if your hips shifted to the left. Keep them down the midline. So shift the hips a little bit to the right. Then look up at your left hand, keeping the work of the back bend. And then you're going to drop the left hand back to the left heel so you're in full camel. Now, there's nothing wrong with baby camel. There's nothing wrong with standing on your knees with your hands on your hips. There's nothing wrong with child's pose. there is something wrong with you abusing yourself and going further than what your body's saying. So remember the first principle in all yoga, ahimsa, do no harm. Nobody's ever hurt themselves in the history of yoga, ever. Because if they did, they weren't practicing yoga. So everybody's meeting themselves where they're at. That's yoga. Look back at your left heel with your left hand and reach your right arm up to the sky so your chest is facing the left wall now. Keep looking back and try to draw that left shoulder into your mid-back. Now you notice that the hips want to shift to the right. Keep them a little bit to the left. And on your next exhale, come on up, arms open, facing the left. And then inhale, turn front and center, both arms up. And then turn back to the left, exhale, and drop the left hand to the left heel. And then inhale, right arm up, look up, and then drop the right hand back to the right heel, camel pose. Now pause here, okay? We want to get to camel. It's a big heart opener. It's a beautiful pose. It feels amazing when you get into it. Pause there for a second. Let it happen. Let the heart open. How often in your life you get an opportunity to let your heart open and you're like, nah, because you're attached to the past, right? You're clinging to the past. You're like, I did that before, it didn't work out. Yeah, there's nothing saying that your future is going to be like your past unless you're attached to your past. Look back at your right heel, reach your left arm up to the sky. Try to draw the right shoulder into the mid-back. Keep the hips square and very slowly on an exhale, come on up facing the right wall. And then turn front and center, both arms up. Now listen, as you exhale, bring your hands to prayer, bring your big toes together and set your butt on your heels. Separate the knees a little bit more and make your way to child's pose. And then just settle into child's pose. Really focus on those exhales. It's a forward fold. And it is a pose that is perfect for surrender. Ishvara Pranidhana, whatever your higher power is. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what you call it. Doesn't matter what I call it. What matters is that you remember, you don't forget that you're not alone. And something's beating your heart and something's breathing your body. It's not always you. It's not you that's beating your heart. There's something behind that. And what you are is that which is aware of that. Don't forget that you use your eyes to see, but your life doesn't depend on your eyes anymore. It depends on your ears. It depends on what's behind that. All right, everybody, make your way back up to hands and knees. Bring the knees back underneath the hips. Pop up onto your fingertips on an exhale. Dome the mid-back, high cat. And then palms flat, inhale, low cow. So kind of drop the belly with the tailbone up, glance forward, heart forward. Back up on the fingertips, high cat. Good. Palms flat, inhale, low cow. And high on the fingertips, high cat. Let's do one more time. Palms flat, low cow. Draw your heart forward in front of your heart, or your biceps. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Now, as soon as you get to down dog, lift the heels up, hips as high as they'll go. And then exhale, put a little bend in the knees, look forward, and walk to the top of your space. Bring your feet together when you get up there. And then inhale, glance forward and spread the toes, flat back. Squat down onto the balls of your feet. Lift the heels off the mat, butt cheeks on the heels. Hands on the thighs, sit up tall. Just balancing on your toes. This is great for the fascia at the bottom of your feet, which, by the way, is connected to all the fascia in your body all the way up to the base of your occipital bone. Tight feet can cause a headache. Open up your arms to the sides. So Paragraha is not just about not clinging to the world, not clinging to the past, not being attached to everything we think we are and everything the ego tells us we are, which is nothing other than our past and all our teachers and everything people tell us we are or we're supposed to be. It's also an opportunity to let that go and be open and receive. Everybody inhale, hands to prayer. And then exhale, hands down, legs straight, fold from there. And then just inhale, lift your left leg. Lift the left leg up. And then place your right 5 fingertips about a foot in front of your right pinky toe, the fingertips. So get high up on those fingertips. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Lift the left hip over the right hip. Turn your left chest open and reach your left arm up to the sky. Now, it's so important that you keep that right knee unlocked. Don't lock the right knee. Press the mound of the right big toe down. Unlock the right knee. Draw the right hip under like Brittany here. Flex that left foot and make the left knee strong until you feel it in your left, this is the gluteus medius, that hip. Now, I want to do something really specific here. Don't move your right hand, but in a second that right hand's going to be flat on the ground. On your next exhale, put your left fingertips on the ground on the inside of the right foot. Keep your right palm where it's at. Left fingertips on the inside of the right foot. Right palm flat. Just up on the fingertips. Drop your head down low. Now point back through the left toes so the hips are square. Spread those toes. I'm just up on the fingertips there, Lori. Left fingertips, right palm flat. Left fingertips, right palm flat. You know, the reason I want you to do that is I want you to feel that right hip drawn back and the left hip drawn forward. And you can kind of get that with your hands positioned like this, huh? On your next exhale, left foot next to right foot, fold into that. Slide the fingertips back. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana out. Squat down onto the balls of the feet again, heels off the mat. Same thing, we're going to place the hands on the thighs. You're going to sit up tall. You're going to press the knees towards the floor, inner knees towards each other. And once you got your heart up and your spine somewhat, if not perfectly perpendicular to the floor, just open up your arms. Palms face the ceiling. Thumbs draw back. Shoulder blades join. Shoulders draw down. You're at home, you might want to just have some fun and close your eyes. See if you can keep your balance here with your heart open. Try to keep it still. Try to stay steady. Everybody, inhale, hands to prayer, namaste. Exhale, hands on the floor, legs straight, fold. Get ready to lift your right leg. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Place the left fingertips a foot in front of the left pinky toe. Lift the right hip over the left hip. Draw the left hip towards the midline. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Roll the right shoulder behind you. Keep the pit of the left elbow facing forward. Reach your right arm up to the sky. That right heel is lifting a little bit higher than the right pinky toe, because I'm trying to keep my right thigh closed by about 3 degrees and unlock your left knee. Make that left foot as active as can be. Now let me see if I can instruct this better. On your exhale, put your right fingertips down on the same line as your left big toe. Put your left palm flat right where it's at. Drop your head down low. Close the right hip and point through the right toes. Okay? Turn the right hip forward. You could even, that left palm that's out in front of you, you could squeeze that counterclockwise a little trick to get the right hip forward, left hip in. I just saw it on Cheryl. Her right leg just moved to the right, and the right heel is traced directly behind the right knee, directly behind the right sits bone. So that's a little trick. Pit of the left elbow faces for external rotation of shoulder. On your next exhale, right foot next to left foot. Bend both knees up to 90 degrees like you're going to do a chair. And then inhale, arms up to the sky, chest off thighs, chair. Now as you exhale, shift forward into the balls of the feet and lift the heels off the mat. So you're in chair on your heels. On the balls of the feet, heels off the mat. Now try to bring most of the weight into the mounds of the big toes. Tracy here has incredibly active, strong feet, and that's why one of the reasons her practice is so strong. She can lift these heels up, and she can stay here all day, right? Yes, tailbone down. Core strong. Take one more inhale and get ready to stand up. On your exhale, stand up, bring your hands to prayer, and grab your left wrist from there. And then with your right hand, then extend the left arm up over your head, look to the left. And then as you exhale, I want you to fall to the right, press the hips to the left, looking to the left, unlock the right knee a little bit, and then squeeze the right sideways and press the mounds of the left foot into the ground. So you're just kind of looking to the left, keep the short ribs in, lift the front body and draw down with the back body. Press the back body into the front body and draw the front body into the back body as you just fall to the right with your heart, pressing the hips to the left, keeping the chest and hips square to the front wall. On your next inhale, stand up and switch hands. Look to the right and fall to the left. Unlock the left knee and press the mounds of the right foot into the ground. Make your feet active. Lift the middle 3 toes. You got to keep the feet active. It's so important. What I would say too is don't try to go further into it, okay? Restrain yourself. Don't think, a lot of people think yoga is just about flexibility. It's not even, there's nothing true about it. It's nothing true that yoga is about flexibility or being flexible or getting flexible. It's got deep philosophical underpinnings that have nothing to do with flexibility. On an inhale, stand up, reach both arms up to the sky, and then drop your palms together behind your back, interlace the fingers, press the knuckles back, elbows straight, take a big inhale, lift your chin, and then as you exhale, fall forward and fold into that. Good, just pause here for a second. Now here's another forward fold. Remember in the forward fold, it's all a chance to empty the lungs completely and really let go. What are you holding on to, huh? Where are you holding on to it in your body and your mind? What are you still obsessing about? Sometimes I find myself still thinking about stuff that happened 25, 30 years ago. It's like, why? It's totally done. Some people might not like this, but I think you got to kill sentiment to move on. Kill all sentiment. Everybody release your hands behind your butt to the floor. And then inhale flat back just like before. Glance forward. Bend the knees, step back to downward facing dog. Okay. Now, take your left palm and move it 4 to 5 inches closer to your left toes. Just the left palm. Take your right arm and wrap it behind your back. Just lay it behind your back. Allow your left knee to unlock. Unlock that left knee, okay? Keep the right leg straight. Don't let the hip shift out to the left, okay? And the way we're going to do that is you're going to squeeze your left side waist a little bit. You're going to press the outer edge of the right heel down, okay? Now keep the left palm squeezing counterclockwise. Don't change anything. I want you to take your right hand out and grab the outside of your left ankle. Once you have the outside of your left ankle, it's like you're driving a forklift. You're going to press the left leg straight and unlock the right knee. So bend the right knee. Now you're going to press the outer edge of the left heel down, the left big toe mound down, and squeeze the right sideways so you're starting to draw your right knee into your right armpit, looking up underneath your left armpit. Okay? Good. Now just easily make your way back to downward facing dog. And then drift to upper push-up position and keep your feet about 3 inches apart. Separate your feet to about 3 to 4 inches apart. Leaning into your right hand, turn all 10 toes to the left so the sole of the left foot is flat. Grab your left hip. And Jennifer here is putting her knee down, which is very intelligent. Any modification from this position, one of the first ones, just put the knee down right underneath the hip. Everybody reverse circle on an inhale, your left arm down and forward and up. Big circle. Now pause here and listen very carefully for this next transition. On your next exhale, go to plank and bring your right knee to your left elbow and keep it there. And then inhale your right knee to your left wrist. And then exhale, bring it back up to the left elbow. Let's do that again. Inhale left wrist, exhale left elbow. One more time. Inhale left wrist, exhale left elbow. Get ready for three-legged dog. Inhale, come all the way up to three-legged dog. Now bend the right knee, lift your right hip over your left hip, and draw the left hip towards the midline. Look up underneath your left armpit for your right toes extending. So you're going to try to draw the right heel into your left sits bone. We're going to flip the dog, and I want you to start to press the right palm down and forward, drawing the right knee up and back. Squeezing the left palm counterclockwise, roll onto the outer edge of your left foot and drop step the ball of your right foot just off your mat and flip your dog up and around. Or stay right where you're at. Nothing wrong with that. If you're in flip dog, draw the left shoulder into the mid-back. Look up at your right hand, that palm's facing the mat. Lift a little bit the left heel. And on your next exhale, flip it around, right knee, right elbow. Flip it back around, right knee, right elbow. And then inhale, right wrist. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, right wrist. Exhale, right elbow. One more time. Inhale, right wrist. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Come all the way up. Step with your right foot to your right thumb. Turn the left foot square with the mat and work your front leg straight from there. Now don't let that back foot turn out. The outer edge of that back foot is square with the back of the mat. The front heel and the back inner ankle are on the same line. You're just folding over that thigh. Okay, now pause. Press the mound of the right big toe down. Keep the right hip in. Bring your right hand to your right shin or ankle. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Roll the left shoulder behind you. Open that up. On an inhale, reverse circle again. Left arm forward and up. Pause. Just a triangle pose, just to open up the heart and get into the hips from another angle. And just another opportunity to get still. Work on the breath. Work on focusing and listening and paying attention to the present moment. On your next exhale, complete that circle back to where we were before. So we're going to fold over the front thigh, both hands on the floor. Drop the head down low. Keep breathing. Pivot your right foot parallel with your left foot. Walk your hands down the middle until you're in a split-legged forward fold. Good. Check that the feet are slightly pigeon-toed. Climb up onto your fingertips, flat back, shoulders the same height as the hips. Remember this beginning class? Grab your hips, thumbs wrap around the backside of the iliac crest. Work of the back bend, shoulder blades join. On an inhale, stand up with the flat back by pressing the feet down, and then turn your feet out up to 90 degrees. Turn both feet out up to 90 degrees, and then start to bend both knees up to 90 degrees. Keep the knees back and the tailbone down, the hip points lifting and the shoulder blades joining. Keep your left hand on your left hip and bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Now flex the right side waist a little bit. Look to the left and reach your left arm up to the sky. So with that right side waist squeezing a little bit, I want you to keep your hips shifting a little bit to the left and the left knee opening. You're using that right forearm to open the right knee. Okay? Now everybody smooth out your breath. Drop the tailbone. Open the left knee. Squeeze the right side waist, lifting the right hip point gently. Bring your left hand back to your left hip. Bring your right hand back to your right hip and sit up. Slowly press the legs straight again. Turn the feet back to parallel. Press the palms together behind your back. Interlace the fingers. Lift your heart and press the hips forward, and then exhale, fold into that just like before. Okay. Remember that hip check thing we talk about? This time I want you to keep your palms together, interlace fingers, as you check your left hip. Good. Now keep the back of the right hand on the left hip. Unlock the left knee and look to the right. Unlock that left knee and reach over with your left hand and grab the outside of your right ankle. Okay, so that'll help you roll the right shoulder behind you, left shoulder into you, squaring your chest over your right thigh. Now lift your heart up away from your thigh a little bit and slide the right hand down to the right calf. Okay? Good. Now if your back is flat and your hips are where they're at, like on Flora here, she did not drop her left hip at all. She got the left knee unlocked, right leg can be straight. She's free to pull herself in just a little bit, squaring the sternum plate over the kneecap, the patella bone. Good, but we're moving on. Look to your left foot. Walk your hands all the way over to your left foot and pivot all the way to down dog facing your back wall. Good, now this time, move your right hand 4 to 5 inches closer to your right toes and wrap your left arm behind your back, right? And unlock your right knee. Try to keep the right hip in as you squeeze the right side waist, okay, and squeeze the right palm clockwise. And then if you remember what we did, we're not going to touch the floor with the left hand. Keep that right knee bent and the left leg straight for now. You're just going to release the left hand and grab the outside of the right ankle, and then you're going to press the right leg straight and bend the left knee. Squeeze the left side waist so the left knee draws up into the left armpit, and you can peek up underneath your right armpit. Now, use the strength of your left side body to shorten that side body a little bit. without popping the hips left or right. Okay? Meditatively, consciously, with strength and patience, make your way back to downward facing dog. So set your hands and feet in down dog. And then inhale to upper push-up position. Make sure the feet are a couple inches apart. Separate your feet, June. Lean into your left hand, turn all 10 toes to the right, and grab your right hip. Now don't open up your hips. You want to keep this hip closed a little bit. Hips forward, strong belly. Inhale, reverse circle. Right hand down and forward and up. And then just pause. You know, a little trick is to squeeze that right foot counterclockwise. That'll draw that right thigh closed and the hips forward. Exhale, plank, left knee, right elbow. Inhale, right wrist. Exhale, right elbow. One more time. Inhale, right wrist. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Come on up. Now pause, bend the left knee, lift your left hip over your right hip. Draw the right hip towards the midline. Point through your left toes. And we're going to flip the dog again and use that left hand squeezing counterclockwise to keep that left knee lifting up and over. And then go ahead, roll onto the outers of the right foot, flip your dog all the way around under control. Perfect. Now the left heel's off the floor. The right foot is flexing. The chest is open to the side wall just a little bit, but the hips are level to the ceiling almost. On your next exhale, flip it back around. Left knee, left elbow. Inhale, left wrist. Exhale, left elbow. Inhale, left wrist. Exhale, left elbow. Come on back. Three-legged dog. Get ready to step. Step with your left foot to the top of your space. Turn your right foot square and work the front leg straight from there. Fold over the left thigh. Drop your head down low. Again, check that that back foot is square with the back of the mat. We're not turning the back foot 45 degrees. Bring your left hand to your left shin. And you know what? This time, we're just going to go right into reverse circle. Inhale, right arm forward and all the way up to triangle pose. So there's a couple ways to go. Get into triangle pose. Always keep your hands active, guys, no matter if your hand's on the floor or not. Hands active. Russian strength trainers and kinesiologists figured out that you can increase the strength in your entire body by maximizing strength of your hands. And you know, one way to keep your hands active and that strength, the electricity of that running through your body is keep your hands active, whether you're making fists or you're spreading the fingers, but lazy hands doesn't help you on that. On an exhale, complete the circle, both hands down, fold over the left thigh. Try to square the hips forward just a little bit for this, for now. So the right hip turns forward a little bit as left hip draws in. And then ready, keep breathing. Pivot your left foot in parallel with your right foot. Walk the hands down the middle. Fold into that for a second. And then climb up onto the fingertips, lift the heart the same height as the hips. And then bring your hands to your hips, thumbs wrap around the backside of the iliac crest. Unlock the knees, press down, rise up with the flat back. Inhale. Turn both feet out up to 90 degrees. Bend both knees up to 90 degrees. Good. Now this time you're going to flex the left side waist. You're going to bring your left forearm to your left thigh. You're going to roll the right shoulder behind you and draw the hips forward as you open the knees and reach your right arm up to the sky. Just kind of sit into it. You know, what's more important? Strength, flexibility, range of motion, balance, stability. It's all important. You know what's more important than that? Is a quiet, calm, peaceful mind. And that starts with the breath. Bring your right hand to your right hip. As you sit up, bring your left hand to your left hip. Slowly press the legs straight. Turn the feet back to parallel. Press the palms together behind your back. Press the knuckles back. Lift your heart and press the hips forward. Maybe drop the head back. And then exhale. Fold into that all the way down. So we're just slowly getting into those places. You don't want to go in. You don't want to go in fast and furious. You want to take your time, be patient. And who couldn't use some patience? You know, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if you practice being patient, you get better at being patient. That transcends your yoga mat and starts to emanate everything in your life. This time you're going to check your right hip with the back of the left hand. You're going to unlock the right knee just a little bit and look at your left foot if you can. Leave the back of the left hand pressed into the right hip. Reach over with your right hand, grab the outside of the left ankle. Roll the left shoulder behind you. Lift your heart a little bit. Draw the right shoulder into you. Keep that right knee unlocked and the hips shifting just a little bit to the right. And then reach down with your left hand, grab the back of the left calf. And if you got that back flat and the heart forward out of the belly, and you didn't drop your right hip and your feet are active, the outer edge of the feet are pressing into the floor and the feet are parallel, hug yourself in a little bit. Now get ready. This is going to change, not dramatically, but significantly enough to where you're going to notice a little shift in energy here, okay? Look at your right foot and walk your hands all the way to your right foot until you're in a runner's lunge facing the front wall. Now climb way up onto your fingertips in a runner's lunge and keep your chest forward and just work your front leg straight so all 10 of your toes are parallel. Run your arms down your ribs like wings with the spine parallel to the floor. On an inhale, bend that right knee in crescent pose. Come all the way up. Lift your chest, crescent pose. As you exhale, stand up on your right foot and bring your left knee into your chest. Okay? Good. Now hands to prayer. Inhale, keep the knee lifted, and then exhale, fall forward, kick the left leg back. Warrior 3 with your hands in Anjali. Keep the hands in Anjali in Warrior 3. We're gonna stand up in a second and switch feet. But remember, it's going to be on an exhale. You got to keep that right foot active, the right knee unlocked. The floor is doing a fantastic job. On your next exhale, stand up, switch feet, and everybody grab your right ankle and place your right ankle on your left thigh. Flex your right foot and bend the left knee, keeping your chest high. Both hands on the right ankle. Both hands on the right ankle. Get that ankle down closer to the knee than the hip. Sit lower. Now try to keep your left knee opening and the right knee working forward so the left hip stays in. And then drop your chest towards your right shin and open up your arms, but look forward a little bit. Keep the shoulders back in your body and your heart forward out of your belly. Palms face the floor. Backs of the hands lift a little bit more. Good. Now stay down there and bring your left hand back to your left hip. And reach with your right 2 peace fingers for your right big toe. Okay, if you can find it. On an inhale, stand up and extend the right leg straight out in front of you. Now keep your left hand on your left hip. Keep the right knee lifted as you release your right arm up to the sky. Bend the right knee. Right arm up to the sky. Bend the right knee. And then as you exhale, plant the right foot on the ground. Keep your left hand on your left hip. Swing the left leg back, fall forward. Open up your hips in midair. Now keep your left hand on your left hip until your right fingertips hit the floor, and then left arm up to the sky, half moon. Nobody's locking that right knee, right? Perfect, June. We are going to drop step from here in a second to a perfect Warrior 2, and everybody knows where their feet need to be in Warrior 2. Start to bend the right knee, shift back into the right heel, and exhale back to Warrior 2. Now pause in Warrior 2. And then drop the left hand to the outer left thigh. Reach your right arm up to the sky and simultaneously press the right leg straight. We're going to call that pyramid pose. Now draw the left shoulder down and lift the right ribs up. Look up at your right hand. Keep the left thigh, the energy of the left thigh closing, and the energy of the right sits bone pulling back. And keep reaching up to the sky as you start to rebend the right knee. Rebend the right knee, keep reaching up. And then just on an exhale, put the right fingertips down on the outside of the right foot and reach your left arm all the way up and over. Just all the way up and over. No need to reverse circle. Just all the way up and over, just reaching. Okay? Now, try to keep your right knee from collapsing in. Press the outside of the right knee into like the right bicep or whatever's there. And on your next exhale, put your left palm down on the floor, pivot onto your back toes, and reverse circle your right arm forward and up. Now squeeze the left palm counterclockwise and let that right knee stay open a little bit. Good job, Jen. Keep the right hip in and the right shoulder rolling open, just like that. And on an exhale, right fingertips on the mat, drop the left knee to the floor, release the back toes, and pull your right hip back, folding over the right thigh. Now keep your hands out there. Keep the left hand walking forward and the right hip drawn back and in. In fact, you might press that left palm into the floor and pull the right hip back a little bit more. And just drop the head down, keeping the heart forward out of the belly. Good. Now, rebend your right knee. Come forward into a runner's lunge again. So you're going to tuck the back toes under, back knee off the mat. On your next exhale, pivot to the left 45 degrees. Turn all 10 toes to the left and fold, just like before. Split-legged forward fold, fold into that. Good. Now on your next inhale, come on up flat back. Turn 45 degrees to the left until you're in a runner's lunge facing the back wall. Now get up on the fingertips and keep your chest forward. Start to work the left leg straight. Run your arms down your ribs like wings. Now stay heavier on the inner edges of the feet. On an inhale, bend the left knee and sweep the arms up to the sky to crescent pose. And on an exhale, stand up on your left foot and bring your right knee into your chest. Now focus. Focus begets focus, right? Presentness begets presentness. Bring your hands to prayer. Inhale. Keep them there. Kick the right leg back as you fall forward into Warrior 3 with your hands in prayer. Now notice what happens when you unlock the left knee as opposed to locking it. Notice what happens when you keep the heads of the shoulders up off the floor as opposed to dropping them. Notice what happens when you keep your stomach a little firm as opposed to getting lazy with it. Wait for an exhale to stand up, plant the right foot, and grab your left ankle. So you switch feet. Place your left ankle on your right thigh just above the knee. Start to bend the right knee and keep your chest up and your shoulders back. Keep both feet active. Okay, sit into it. And then when you're ready, you get those hips down. The left knee working forward, the right knee working open, and the right hip working in. Open up your arms. Palms face the floor. Shoulders draw back. Hey, I hate to remind this, but at this point in this practice, if you're practicing at home with me, your mind has completely changed from where it was about an hour ago. Enjoy that. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Grab your left big toe with your two peace fingers. On an inhale, stand up and extend the left leg towards straight out in front of you. Keep your right hand on your right hip. Let the left knee bend and sweep your left arm up to the sky. Big inhale. Left arm up to the sky. Plant the left foot on the floor, kick the right leg back, fall forward, and as soon as your left fingertips touch the floor, right arm up to the sky. So you lift the right hip over the left hip, half moon. Don't lock the left knee. It's such a habit. I understand gymnasts and I'm going to probably upset half of the world here. Fine. I understand that gymnasts and ballet dancers are taught to lock their knee. It's physiologically very, 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 very bad for you. So there it is. Your right inner ankle is going to be on the same line as your left heel. Bend the left knee and on an exhale, drop step back to Warrior 2. Get there. Drop the right hand to the outer right thigh. Reach your left arm up to the sky. Work the left leg straight, pyramid pose. Front leg straight. Good. Now Cheryl here is a teacher at my studio in Nebraska. She's got the best pranayama practice I've ever seen, and therefore her focus is amazing. And nothing can faze her no matter what. Start to bend your left knee, keeping what you got. Bend the left knee. And on an exhale, just put your fingertips on the outside of the left foot and reach up and over. Karina, just reach up and over. Right bicep up and over, right ear. That's all. Now try to keep the left knee open, the left hip in by closing the right thigh. Your right foot is actually squeezing the mat counterclockwise in. Okay? On your exhale, put the right palm on the floor, pivot onto the back toes, reverse circle the left arm forward and up, and that's it. Pause. Nice job, Lori. On your next exhale, both hands down, drop the back knee to the floor, release the back toes and pull your hips back. Fold over the left thigh, drop your head down low. So, we've basically done everything we're going to do to prepare you for kind of a peak pose, and it's a peak pose of letting go. The mind, especially the subconscious mind, it's got all these secret places in the body, it likes to hold old dead energy, okay? And we're going to go there here in a second. Rebend the left knee, sole left foot on the floor, tuck under the back toes, low lunge. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, pivot your toes to the right, split leg forward fold. Now pause here for a second. Just kind of fold into it. Fold into it. Just fold. Still your mind and walk your hands forward a couple inches until they're off your mat. Okay? And then lift your shoulders over your wrists with your elbows straight. Keep your shoulders over your wrists and walk your feet back until just the balls of your feet are on the mat and the heels are off the mat. Okay? Good. Now separate your feet just a little bit more if you can, but not until you're in the splits. Hands are just off the mat. And then pull your hips all the way back and drop your head down low so there's a straight line from your tailbone to the thoracic T1 right there as you drop the head down. Now see if you can keep your hips pulling back and your heart melting to the floor as you walk your hands forward a little bit more. Just walk those hands a little bit further forward and keep the hips pulling back. You feel that? Now remember this pose because we're going to come back to it. But for now, with the hands forward, drift forward until your shoulders are over your wrists again. Now pause for a second. Turning your toes out 90 degrees, turning the knees out 90 degrees, softly drop your knees to your mat. Good, now pause. Once your knees get to the mat. See if you can separate your knees a little bit more, and then look back and separate the ankles a little bit wider than the knees. And you want your hips on the same line as your knees, like Cheryl here, okay? Now see where your hands are at. See if you can, one elbow at a time, put your elbows down where your hands are at so your forearms are on the floor. Now don't drop your head down yet. We're going to do a cow here. On an inhale, drop the belly and look forward. And then exhale, cat stretch, drop the head down, and you're in it. Pause in it. Now we wouldn't come all this way and get into this pose and into these places in the body and the mind and just leave. But what happens so often, you get into a posture like this that things come up and you're like, I want out. Now, if you're in pain physically, yeah, obviously make a modification, get out of pain. You should never be in pain. You might be a little uncomfortable, and sometimes that uncomfort can almost be a little bit overwhelming. But is that mental, is it emotional, or is it physical? Or maybe it's spiritual. See if you can stay in that fire for a couple minutes and just breathe into it. Just let your head drop down. Dome the mid back up. It's like you're doing a cat crunch. I was doing this practice right before I taught this class today, and I just had this cathartic emotional release. And I'm not saying it's going to happen for you or it should happen for you, but it happens. And it's good, because anything you can do that will help you let go of the past without inebriating yourself or numbing yourself or drugging yourself or running away from it, but looking right into it and literally letting go after you hold on to it, that's what it's about. Because drugging yourself with drugs and alcohol and numbing yourself or keeping yourself busy is not healing. You're just numbing yourself to what's really going on. But holding a yoga pose like this and practicing pratyahara, inward gazing, and pranayama, and the yamas and the niyamas and all 8 limbs, and being consistent with your practice, you're going to start accessing those deeper levels that are agitating you up here. And once you let those go, you're going to drop into your heart. And then everything changes for the better. Exhales are deep. Inhales are complete. Now, so careful. And if you're at home, you want to stay in it, put me on pause. Or you know what? Stay in it and listen to the rest of the class, memorize it, and then finish it through memorization. But we're going to move on. Carefully, one hand at a time, press your arms straight. Now pause for a second. Can you walk your hands just a little bit closer to your mat? And then inhale, drop the belly and glance forward. And then tuck your toes under and easily go back to the previous pose. Knees off the mat, hands off the mat, feet on the mat, at least the toes on the mat. Pull the hips back and fold. Whew, does that feel different? It always feels good to let go of whatever it is you're holding on to, even if it's an old couch. Take your old couch and throw it away. Now, drift back forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. Walk your feet back onto your mat. Walk your hands back onto your mat. Fold into that. And then inhale flat back. And then pivot to the right into the last downward facing dog of this class. You made it. Just a couple finishing postures. No less deep. No less complete. Incredibly important. On your next exhale, drop your knees to the floor. Keep your hands where they're at. Bring the knees together. Keep your hands where they're at. Separate your ankle bones wider than your hip bones with the toes released. Keeping the hands where they're at. See if you can push your butt back to the floor between your heels. And see if you can drop your forearms to the floor out in front of your knees. And drop your head down. Whew. Here's another pose. You might still be in that frog pose. But if you joined us in this one, here's another one you can stay in for a lot longer than we have time for here. My hope is that you practice with me and you learn some things and you bring it into your own practice as well. Not just physically, but philosophically. And you learn a few things philosophically and you bring them into your life off the mat, because if what we do on the mat doesn't benefit us off the mat, it's, as Brian Kest, my first teacher, says, it's completely worthless. And there's few truer statements. If what we do on the mat doesn't benefit us and everybody around us off the mat, you're just wasting your time, because nobody cares if you're flexible or strong physically. Good. Now, keep your hips low and just start to walk your hands back towards your knees and then sit up tall. And then take your second knuckles and put them on the floor right in front of your ankles, and then press down and lift the hips up. Come on up. And then walk your hands forward to hands and knees. And then crawl the knees forward to meet your wrists, please. Cross your legs behind you and sit back on your butt. Now, take your feet about 2.5 feet out in front of you, about sits bones width apart. Okay, so about like this. Sit up tall and then allow the knees to drop open so the soles of the feet are facing each other and the outer edges of the heels are parallel. Reach forward and put your palms on your ankles and see if you can press your elbows into your inner knees. And then inhale, lift the chest up, draw the shoulders back, and then reach out and grab your toes if you can, or put your palms on the mat. Drop the head down low and fold into that. Mickey's got the perfect example of this posture, what I'm asking for. So the feet are not together. They're just facing each other. Inner edge of the feet are a couple inches apart. Remember, the exhales are just so complete. I found another area in my hips, right? So we did the inside of the hips, the outside of the hips, the back side of the hips, the inner groin, the subconscious, unconscious mind, all the things you repress and deny, all the traumas, conscious or unconscious, that energy gets hidden there. You know, there's 3 reactions. You can fight, you can flee, or you can freeze. And so often us humans, we freeze. We don't work through it, and it gets stuck there. So here's another way to release those places. And if you're not breathing, it's not working. It's just a stretch. If you're not breathing, it's not working. Now, as you sit up, grab your knees, bring them closer together, shift the hips forward a little bit, and then lay on your back. Bring your knees into your chest. We got one last thing. Keep your right knee into your chest and your left knee bent, but put your left foot on the mat and keep it there. Okay? Now cross your right leg over your left leg, eagle twist. Right leg over the left leg, eagle twist, so the right foot's going to wrap underneath the left heel. Lift your hips to the right a couple inches, and then drop the knees to the left, looking to the right. Okay? It's important that you lift the hips to the right to protect the lower back as we drop the knees to the left. It actually gives you a little bit more range of motion there too. And then you can always squeeze the left side waist a little bit. That lets you open that right hip a little bit and try to keep the right shoulder on the floor. Smooth and fluidize the breath out, and then come back up. Undo the eagle legs. Square the hips off. Now keep your right foot on the floor. Cross your left leg over your right leg. Slip the left foot behind the right heel. Lift your hips to the left a couple inches and drop the knees to the right. Look to the left. And this time the left shoulder's on the floor. Now, notice your breath. Is it different than it was at the beginning of the class? Did you give up on it? Did you start thinking about something? And that's more interesting than what you're doing? How often does that happen? It's like a thought comes up, which is nothing but your past, and then you're lost in a thought train, and you don't even know where that train's taking you. The next thing you know, you're somewhere else, lost in a daydream or something. And the breath, UDAYA Pranayama that we're working on, will anchor that mind in the train station. You can just watch the trains go by. You don't have to get on them. Good, now bring the knees back up. Uncross the legs. Square the hips to the middle. Pause for a second and then grab your knees and bring them in. And with your hands, grab your respective shins and just let your knees drop open. Just with your hands on your shins, let the knees drop open. Keep the lower back on the floor, but kind of in a concentric circle, draw the knees open a little bit more back and towards the floor. Yeah. And then bring your knees together. Wrap the forearms around the shins. Go up there with your forehead towards your knees. Now this is different. I want you to take a big inhale, but we're not going to hold it. I want you to inhale to the very top and then exhale to the very, very bottom. Rachaka. Hold that for a second and then gently inhale to Savasana. Just lay it down into Savasana. So the legs out straight, arms at your sides, palms up. Elevate the heart a little bit. Close your eyes and let your front body drop into your back body as your back body drops into the floor. Stay here for at least 5 minutes in Savasana. And Savasana in Sanskrit, in yoga, means corpse pose. And corpse pose, what you're literally doing is playing dead, but not really playing, you're celebrating the death of the past. Think about that. Celebrate the death of the past. Isn't that good news? It's over. Stay here. Enjoy it. My name is Dr. Jeff Beaudoin. This is UDAYA.com, and this is Zyre Yoga. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste.